2027 WNBA draft. And also, Royce White, who my Houston Rockets actually drafted, he also declared for the WNBA draft. Now, all this virtue signaling, folks, the WNBA better draft these guys, because there's no doubt about it, they would actually be the best players in the WNBA. But guess what, folks? The WNBA is panicking. They're actually going to hold a meeting.
The 1BA is preparing to address a question that has moved to the front of league discussions: how eligibility rules should handle transgender athletes. The topic gained new attention after two former NBA players, Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White, both publicly stated their intent to declare for the 2027 1BA draft. A third individual, a French basketball player who transitioned several years ago, has also expressed interest in joining the league. According to reporting picked up by multiple outlets, including ESPN, 1BA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert sent a memo to team executives acknowledging that questions about transgender participation have been increasing in recent weeks. In the memo, obtained by the Associated Press, Engelbert wrote that she expected the subject to keep drawing attention and thanked team staff who had responded to media questions with care and professionalism.
Is panicking. They're actually going to hold a meeting to actually decide what is a woman. You can't make this up. So a women's basketball league with woman in the name, they don't know what a woman is. They sound like Ketanji Brown Jackson, folks. They really, really do. When Rhodes called me about this, I was like, what? Is this real? The Women's National Basketball Association doesn't know what a woman is, so now they have to define it? Even though their league rules...
She noted that a task force made up of team presidents and general managers would continue the discussion at a previously scheduled meeting the following week. The story picked up momentum after NBA player Sophie Cunningham voiced her own opposition to allowing transgender athletes into women's sports competition. Her comments drew public reaction, including demonstrations outside WNBA arenas from supporters of her position. Commentary on the situation has framed it as a difficult position for the league. WNBA rules currently specify that only women are eligible to play, but there has been no formal published definition clarifying how woman is determined for eligibility purposes.
Doesn't know what a woman is, so now they have to define it? Even though their league rules actually say only women can play in the WNBA, but we know how that works. We know how that works. Because when it comes to the trans issue, folks, all you need to do is just identify. And we're told that trans women are women. When in reality, anybody with a brain in their head knows that they're just men. Yeah, this is crazy, man. And I'm all here for it, guys. They're actually having a meeting on this.
Observers have suggested the league now faces a narrow set of choices: clarify and enforce a biological eligibility standard, allow transgender athletes to compete under existing rules, or risk potential legal challenges from players who believe they meet league requirements as stated. Some commentators predict the league may ultimately adopt language specifying that eligibility is limited to athletes who were born female, framing it as a policy clarification rather than an explicit ban, in an effort to manage the reaction from different parts of its fan base and its own guidelines. As of the reporting, no final policy had been announced. The task force meeting was described as ongoing, with the league saying only that further conversations were planned and that a decision framework was still being developed.
On this, honestly, I think they're about to find out what a woman really is. I think they're actually going to put a rule in place and stop the trans invasion from coming into the WNBA. And then they'll look like hypocrites. Yeah, these women's careers, guys, is on the line. Day by day, more men are coming out and saying, yeah, I'm identifying as a woman and I want to play in the WNBA. So
this remains a genuinely contested policy question, with strong and differing views across athletes, medical and sports science experts, and advocacy groups on both sides regarding fairness, inclusion, and how eligibility in women's sports should be defined. Caitlin Clark is clearly enjoying her time away from the court, most recently spotted at an Indianapolis Colts game, catching plenty of fans off guard. She showed up alongside her boyfriend Connor, and the appearance immediately spread across social media. People couldn't stop posting and discussing it.
Identifying as a woman, and I want to play in the WNBA. So let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Here we go. So right over here, Clay Travis. After 2 former first-round NBA draft picks declared for WNBA draft, the WNBA's commissioner says the league will be meeting to review what a woman is for the purpose of league eligibility. These meetings need to be streamed live. That's must-see TV. Yeah, he goes on.
Whenever Clark steps out in public, the crowd reaction tends to be enormous. Lucas Oil Stadium saw the moment unfold as Clark and Connor arrived at the game together with teammate Lexi Hull. The scene turned into a major event around Indianapolis. Even during the off-season, with the WNBA playoffs already behind her, Clark remains a constant presence in sports conversation, simply because interest in her never seems to slow down.
CTV. Yeah, he goes on. Again, the league has only 3 options now. 1, declare 2 NBA players, not women, meaning they can define what a woman is. 2, let men play. 3, announce only players born as women can play. If they do nothing and refuse to draft the men sue alleging antitrust. Checkmate. That league definition of woman is not specific enough to...
People keep wanting more. There's also a story worth revisiting involving a former Fever Team executive who shared significant details about Clark pushing for other WNBA athletes to receive bigger paychecks tied to the sellout crowds throughout the 2024 season. Every game she played in sold out completely, and what many didn't realize was that Clark actively lobbied for players across the league to receive a cut of that ticket revenue. The league's response was a firm no.
Checkmate. That league definition of woman is not specific enough to exclude men without establishing biology is real and arguing men and women are different. WNBA now has to define what a woman is to establish eligibility criteria. This is a glorious woke mess they have created. Yeah, Gabby Williams, folks. Gabby Williams out there virtue signaling the other day. And look at it now. The league is actually going to have a meeting to establish what is...
Former team president Allison Barber brought this whole situation to light. According to her account, crowds that used to sit at 3,000 or 4,000 people jumped to 17,000, with an extra 1,000 standing room tickets sold on top of that. Fans were packed into the upper balcony just to catch a view of the players below. It was described as almost overwhelming to witness.
What is a woman? And this didn't come from Clay Travis. This is on ESPN, folks. Look at this. Engelbert, WNBA to continue talks about transgender athletes next week. Wow. So when Sophie Cunningham, guys, came out and said that she didn't want males and female sports, it opened up a whole can of worms because you now have people.
Following several road trips filled with sold-out arenas, Clark reportedly asked league officials whether visiting team players could receive performance bonuses tied to that surge in revenue. Her reasoning was straightforward. With all this new money coming in, she wanted opposing players sharing in some of that benefit through spot bonuses. That request reflects her character, described as generous and thoughtful. The answer, though, was still no, largely because of restrictions tied to the collective bargaining agreement, leaving the Players Association unable to make that happen.
Hey, let's check out some of the footage right now. That was the scene at Lucas Oil Stadium today as Kayla Clark and Connor pulled up to the game alongside of Lexi Hull. It is definitely a popping event up in Indianapolis, bro.
The comparison drawn was to the impact Michael Jordan once had, essentially reshaping the financial landscape of an entire sport. Sources close to Nike apparently noted that what Clark has done mirrors what Tiger Woods accomplished in golf, drawing in a wave of brand new fans. Jordan inspired an entire generation and became a role model well beyond basketball, and Clark appears to be following a similar path, expanding the fan base in a major way. What makes it even more notable is her age.
Indianapolis, bro. Now, we know it is currently the off season, and Caitlin Clark is still trending in the media, even though she's out of the WNBA playoffs. Want to know why? Because we can't get enough of Caitlin Clark, dog. Everybody want more. And that is exactly what is going on today. So if you guys haven't heard, I reported on the former Cleveland president dropping some major news about Caitlin Clark actually trying to get other ladies in the WNBA major paydays over those sold-out games.
At just 22, straight out of college, she's already achieved major success. Her season didn't start smoothly though, with plenty of criticism flooding in early on, fans suggesting coaching and front office changes, given how tough the schedule was against top competition. At one point, someone sent an email saying leadership should be fired entirely. Rather than take it personally, it was treated almost as a badge of honor, even kept as a printed reminder in a personal collection of blunt feedback, a lighthearted reminder of relevance rather than a discouragement.
Paydays over those sold-out games that took place during this 2024 season. Now, we know every game Caitlin Clark played in was sold out. And what people did not know was that Caitlin Clark was trying her best to get these WNBA players paid some of that ticket revenue from all them sold-out games. You want to know what the WNBA said? Hell to the no, bro. That was not right. But the ex-president, Allison Barber, she exposed it all, dog. Roll the footage.
3,000, 4,000 people. Now they have 17.
There was also discussion around the Olympic break and some tension that came with it, involving the roster decisions. Since that break, the team has performed strongly, going 9-4. The idea floated was that opposing forces, or tensions, can sometimes produce a positive outcome, similar to themes found in the well-known book Tuesdays with Morrie. There was clear friction between the league, fans who wanted to see Clark competing at the Olympics, and the veteran players plus Olympic Committee, who felt the established roster deserved those spots.
17,000 people, and they sold 1,000 standing room only tickets. So when we walked into the arena, people were on that third balcony looking down at the tops of our players' heads to watch. I mean, it's really hard to take in. After a few away games and all of the sellouts, Caitlin asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players. She said, wow, we're making all this new revenue, and I would like the away team to benefit from that. Could they?
Ultimately, the veteran squad winning gold ended up being a positive outcome, given the incredible streak of gold medals in that sport historically, and it also quieted the argument that Clark should have replaced a veteran. That break ended up benefiting both Clark and the team, since she'd gone straight from college life into professional basketball with virtually no downtime, finishing her tournament run, getting drafted in April, heading into training camp, and immediately playing road games in May. The Olympic pause gave her a genuine chance to recover and reset, while also giving the full roster a rare stretch of downtime away from a demanding travel schedule. Assuming she stays healthy, she's expected to represent the country at the Olympics in 4 years alongside a strong group of teammates.
Benefit from that? Could they get a spot bonus? So that's the heart of Caitlin Clark. I mean, that's a classy, amazing person.
So, but it's absolutely.
The answer was no, by the way, because it's a collective bargaining agreement, and the Players Association couldn't do it.
But it is a little bit like the Michael Jordan effect, right? So, in other words, this is changed, to some degree, changing the economics of the sport in a really remarkable way.
The people at Nike told me that the thing that Caitlin has done is also similar to what Tiger did in that.
Fans across the country remain confused about why the league wouldn't approve these bonus payments, especially given the recent $2 billion media rights agreement. At the end of the day, these athletes deserve fair pay and fair deals, and the league's decision here has left plenty of people questioning its direction. Things clearly need to change. Switching to another topic, there's no real debate that Clark has already earned Rookie of the Year honors this season.
Tiger did, in that they brought new fans to the sport.
Right.
So Michael Jordan energized and became a role model for all the kids. Caitlin's got that. She's brought new fans to it. But she's even more than that, in that she's 22. So she came right out of college and hit, very successful. I mean, our start to our season was tough. I got emails all the time from people. You should fire your coach. You should fire your GM. You should, because we were on the road playing the best teams. It was really hard. And then one day I got an email from a fan that said, you should be fired.
It's been obvious for a while now, yet the league hasn't formally announced it. People are left wondering why the delay. The likely explanation seems to involve discomfort with all the attention surrounding Clark, uncertainty about how to manage it, and possibly reluctance to overshadow Angel Reese. Regardless, the award belongs to Clark, and it needs to be made official.
From a fan that said, you should be fired.
Who's going to do that?
No, I printed it. I'm like, oh my God, they think I'm relevant. Like, this is awesome. It's in my folder at home. I have a humility folder. It's right in there. I'm like,
eternal optimist.
That's right.
I like it. So, but you talked about actually the season. So there was some a little bit of noise around the Olympics.
Yeah.
And the team and Caitlin, but did that really? Maybe that helped, right? So I mean, I think you guys are 9-4 since the Olympics. I mean, did that make a difference?
I think it did. There were, it was.
In previous seasons, Rookie of the Year has typically been announced well before MVP results, so the holdup this time is puzzling. There's also growing scrutiny around Nike's handling of Clark's brand presence. The company has been noticeably quiet, barely featuring her at all. There was an ad campaign recently pushed for Aja Wilson that seemed to sideline Clark in the process.
Difference?
I think it did. There were, it was the book Tuesdays with Morrie talks about the tension of opposites and how really that's a good thing. Yeah. So we did have this tension between the league and the American fans that wanted to see Caitlin at the Olympics, from the veterans who have been at the Olympics and the Olympic Committee that, thought that the veterans should play. I'm glad they won the gold medal for lots of reasons. It's the longest running gold medal 10-year track of any Olympic sport. Yeah, it's amazing.
No official word has come from Nike regarding her signature shoe line either. Nothing has been shared publicly. Even on Nike's own social media, her presence is essentially non-existent, despite the account posting all sorts of unrelated content, mascots included, while ignoring arguably the most talked about athlete in the world right now. It's hard not to view the silence from both Nike and the league as suspicious, especially with the Rookie of the Year announcement still missing. Let the comments reflect your thoughts on all this.